Hey, NEET warriors. Welcome back to the Biology Domination podcast. I'm your host, and this is episode 18, the Physiology Revision Marathon. Before we begin, I want you to do something. Put your phone face down. Close any other tabs. If you're on a walk or commuting, perfect. This episode is built for exactly that moment. Because today, we're not just going over notes. We're doing active recall, the single most powerful study technique proven by neuroscience to lock information into long-term memory. Here's how this episode works. I describe a concept. You try to recall it before I explain it. I say a number. You try to remember it before I confirm it. By the end of 45 minutes, your brain will have rehearsed 5 complete physiology chapters multiple times without opening a single textbook. These 5 chapters, photosynthesis, respiration in plants, plant growth and development, breathing and exchange of gases, and body fluids and circulation, can together fetch you 20 to 25 marks in NEET. That's the difference between getting into a government medical college and not. So let's not waste a single second. Segment 1, photosynthesis. Let's go. First, photosynthesis in higher plants. I want you to picture a plant cell. Inside it, floating like a green lens, is the chloroplast. Double membrane, beautiful architecture. Now zoom in deeper. Inside the chloroplast, you see stacked coin-like discs. Those are the grana, made up of thylakoids. This is where sunlight is trapped. The fluid surrounding the grana is the stroma. Remember these 2 words, thylakoid and stroma, because NEET loves to test exactly which process happens where. Before I tell you, answer in your head, where does the Calvin cycle happen? Thylakoid or stroma? The answer is the stroma, always the stroma. The thylakoid is exclusively for light reactions, photosystems, electron transport, and photophosphorylation. The Calvin cycle, also called the dark reaction or the C3 cycle, happens entirely in the stroma. Now, another recall challenge. What is the source of the oxygen released during photosynthesis? Think about it before I answer. It is water, not carbon dioxide. The process is called photolysis of water. Light energy splits water molecules into hydrogen ions, electrons, and oxygen. The oxygen is released as a byproduct. This is called the Hill reaction, and NEET has tested the source of oxygen multiple times. Now let's talk pathways. There are 3 photosynthetic pathways you must know, C3, C4, and CAM. C3 plants, like rice, wheat, and most common plants, fix carbon dioxide directly in the mesophyll using the enzyme rubisco. The first stable product is a 3-carbon compound called 3-PGA. C3 plants are less efficient in hot, dry conditions because of photorespiration. C4 plants, like maize, sugarcane, and sorghum, have a special leaf anatomy called Cran's anatomy. The mesophyll cells surround a ring of bundle sheath cells. Carbon dioxide is first fixed in the mesophyll as a 4-carbon compound called OAA, then shuttled to the bundle sheath where the Calvin cycle runs. This eliminates photorespiration and makes C4 plants extremely efficient. CAM plants, crassylation acid metabolism, like cacti and pineapple, have the ultimate water-saving trick. They open their stomata at night to take in CO2 and store it as malic acid. During the day, stomata close to prevent water loss, and they use the stored CO2 for the Calvin cycle. Remember, CAM plants are night fixers. Finally, the Z-scheme of electron transport. Electrons flow from photosystem 2 to Second, respiration in plants. This chapter is the story of how a plant, and really any living cell, extracts energy from glucose. It mirrors human cellular respiration almost exactly, so mastering this chapter also reinforces your animal physiology knowledge. I'm going to quiz you verbally right now. For each question, say or think the answer before I reveal it. Question 1. Where does glycolysis occur? The cytoplasm. Always the cytoplasm. Whether oxygen is present or not, glycolysis runs in the cytoplasm. This is critically important because NEET frequently asks about the location of each stage. Question 2. How many net ATP does glycolysis produce? 2, not 4. 4 is the gross yield. 2 ATP are invested at the start, so the net gain is 2 ATP. Question 3. Where does the Krebs cycle occur? The mitochondrial matrix. Pyruvate, produced in glycolysis, enters the mitochondrion, is converted to acetyl-CoA, and then feeds into the Krebs cycle in the matrix. Per glucose molecule, the Krebs cycle yields 2 ATP, 6 NADH, and 2 FADH2. Question 4. Where does the electron transport chain occur? The inner mitochondrial membrane. This is where the big ATP production happens, approximately 34 ATP per glucose molecule. The proton gradient drives ATP synthase in a process called oxidative phosphorylation. Total aerobic respiration yields approximately 38 ATP. Now, respiratory quotient. RQ is the ratio of CO2 released to O2 consumed during respiration. For carbohydrates, RQ is exactly 1, equal amounts of CO2 and O2. For fats, RQ is approximately 0.7. Fats need more oxygen to oxidize, so O2 consumption is higher relative to CO2 release. For organic acids, RQ is greater than 1. They already contain oxygen in their structure, so less atmospheric O2 is needed. If NEET gives you a plant in a sealed chamber and the RQ is greater than 1, the substrate is organic acids. Under anaerobic conditions, yeast produces ethanol and carbon dioxide. Muscle cells, however, produce lactic acid. This distinction is frequently tested in NEET. Moving to third, plant growth and development.
Third, plant growth and development. My personal favorite chapter for NEET traps. Let me give you a mnemonic first. Say this with me. Always give cytokinins, avoid eating. That maps to auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ABA, ethylene. 5 hormones, 1 sentence. Now I'm going to describe a scenario. You name the hormone before I do. Scenario 1. A tree has one strong central shoot growing upward, while all side branches are suppressed. Which hormone is responsible? Auxin. Auxin produced at the shoot apex moves downward and accumulates in lateral buds, inhibiting their growth. This is called apical dominance. Interestingly, at high concentrations, auxin actually inhibits root growth. This is why roots grow away from high auxin zones. Scenario 2. A farmer sprays a chemical on biennial wheat plants and they flower in their very first year, a phenomenon called bolting. Which hormone did the farmer use? Gibberellin. Gibberellins promote stem elongation and can induce flowering in long-day plants even under non-inductive photoperiods. They are also essential for seed germination and breaking dormancy. Scenario 3. A leaf that should have yellowed and fallen 2 weeks ago is still perfectly green. Which hormone is maintaining it? Cytokinin. Cytokinins delay senescence. The Richmond-Lang effect shows that if cytokinin is applied to one side of a leaf, that side stays green while the other yellows. Cytokinins also promote cell division and are produced primarily in roots, moving upward through the xylem. Scenario 4. It's a hot, dry summer. A plant closes all its stomata to prevent water loss. Which hormone triggers this? Abscisic acid, ABA. This is called the stress hormone. ABA also maintains seed dormancy and promotes leaf abscission. Remember, ABA means stress and shutdown. Scenario 5. A fruit is ripening rapidly on your kitchen counter, releasing a gas that also causes nearby fruits to ripen faster. Which hormone? Ethylene, the only gaseous plant hormone. Ethylene causes fruit ripening, promotes abscission, and in seedlings causes the triple response: horizontal growth, stunted elongation, and an exaggerated plumular hook. Now the biggest trap in this chapter, photoperiodism. Short day plants require long nights, not short days. NEET has directly tested whether it is the length of the light or dark period that matters. The answer is always the dark period. A single brief flash of light during the critical dark period can prevent flowering in short day plants. Xanthium and chrysanthemum are short day plants. Wheat and spinach are long day plants. Tomato and cucumber are day neutral. Vernalization is a separate but related concept. Some plants require prolonged cold exposure before they can flower. Winter wheat is the classic example. Moving on to fourth. Fourth and fifth. Breathing and exchange of gases combined with body fluids and circulation. These two chapters are number heavy, so I'm going to use a technique called double encoding. I'll say every critical value twice, because repetition and audio learning creates stronger memory traces. Ready? Here we go. Tidal volume, the air inhaled and exhaled in a normal breath. 500 milliliters, 500 milliliters. Inspiratory reserve volume, the extra air you can forcefully inhale beyond tidal. 2,500 to 3,000 milliliters, 2,500 to 3,000 milliliters. Expiratory reserve volume, the extra air you can forcefully exhale beyond tidal. 1,000 to 1,100 milliliters, 1,000 to 1,100 milliliters. Residual volume, the air that always stays in your lungs and can never be expelled. 1,100 to 1,200 milliliters, 1,100 to 1,200 milliliters. Vital capacity equals TV plus IRV plus ERV, approximately 3,500 to 4,500 milliliters, 3,500 to 4,500 milliliters. Total lung capacity equals vital capacity plus residual volume. Now, gas exchange. Partial pressure of oxygen in alveoli, 104 millimeters mercury, 104. Partial pressure of oxygen in deoxygenated blood entering the lungs, 40 millimeters mercury, 40. Oxygen always moves from high to low partial pressure, from alveoli into the blood. At the tissue level, PO2 in tissues is around 40 and in arterial blood around 95, so oxygen again moves from blood into tissues. Carbon dioxide transport. This is where NEET loves to test percentages. 70% of CO2 is transported as bicarbonate ions in plasma. 70%. This is the dominant form. 23% is transported as carbaminohemoglobin bound to hemoglobin. 23%. Only 7% is dissolved directly in plasma. 7%. The chloride shift. When CO2 enters the RBC, it reacts with water to form carbonic acid, which dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. Bicarbonate moves out of the RBC into plasma. To maintain electrical neutrality, chloride ions move into the RBC. This is the chloride shift, and NEET has asked the direction of chloride movement directly. Now, circulation. Heart rate, 72 beats per minute, 72. Stroke volume, the blood pumped per beat, 70 milliliters, 70 milliliters. Cardiac output equals heart rate multiplied by stroke volume. 72 times 70 equals 5040 milliliters per minute. 5440 milliliters per minute. The electrical conducting system of the heart. SA node generates the impulse. SA node is the pacemaker. It sends the signal to the AV node, then to the bundle of His, then to the Purkinje fibers, causing the ventricles to contract. Blood groups, a guaranteed mark in NEET every year. Blood group O negative, no antigens on RBCs, both anti-A and anti-B antibodies in plasma. O negative is the universal donor. Universal donor. Blood group AB positive, both A and B antigens, no antibodies. AB positive is the universal recipient. Universal recipient. Erythroblastosis fetalis. This occurs when an Rh negative mother carries an Rh positive fetus. In the first pregnancy, the mother's immune system is exposed to Rh-positive blood and produces antibodies. In the second pregnancy with an Rh-positive fetus, those antibodies cross the placenta and destroy the fetal RBCs, causing hemolytic disease of the newborn. The key detail, it happens in the second pregnancy. Second pregnancy, not the first. And lymph. Lymph is different from blood. Lymph contains no RBCs, has lower protein concentration, but does contain WBCs, especially lymphocytes. Lymph flows in only one direction, toward the heart, unlike blood, which circulates. That's fourth and fifth. Done. And that is episode 18, the Physiology Revision Marathon, complete. You have mentally rehearsed 5 complete chapters. You've recalled locations, numbers, hormone functions, gas transport percentages, cardiac values, and blood group logic, all without opening a single textbook. That's the power of active recall. Before I let you go, 3 things. 1. If any topic felt unclear or uncertain, that is your signal. Go back and listen to that specific topic again tonight. Don't ignore the gaps. NEET will find them. 2. Download the free NCERT notes for all 5 of these chapters. The link is in the description. linktree.ee/Hidden Wisdom Academy Biology. These notes are designed to complement exactly what we covered today. 3. Share this episode with one person from your NEET study group right now, not later, right now. It takes 10 seconds and it could genuinely change their score. Tomorrow is episode 19, excretory products and their elimination. We cover the nephron in detail, GFR, the countercurrent mechanism, micturition, and artificial kidney. It's one of the most diagram-heavy chapters in NEET, and we're going to make it completely audio accessible. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep going. Every day of this 30-day series is an investment in your NEET 2026 rank. You're doing the work. That already puts you ahead of most. Stay consistent, stay sharp. See you in episode 19.